Thanks for tuning into our edit sesh. I'm Effie.
And I'm Dorothy, two passionate photographers from Hamilton, Ontario.
Join us as we dive into answering FAQs, share tips, and discuss life's moments, all while savoring the rich aroma of our favorite brew and working through our edit cues. Whether you're a photographer or a pal,
we're beyond happy you're joining us.
Dorothy and I went to yoga class yesterday with Bree. Bree was leading it.
Bree likes dogs.
Bree likes dogs.
Yeah.
Which is wild. It's so wild to me that she's a photographer, she's a vet, and she's a yoga teacher.
I think people get comfortable with like their level of working because I do the same thing. Like as soon as you have like a hole in your schedule, I'm like, as soon as Maisel went to daycare, I was like, oh, I'm gonna actually relax. And then I was like, nope, I'm gonna do 75 hard, and like 5 other challenges.
Yeah, but this is like work. Like she's a legit yoga teacher.
Yeah, I mean, I could be working instead of just working out, but
yeah,
it's
just crazy.
Yeah,
she's just got so many skills, and she's good at them.
This is true.
Yeah, I loved it. Except it was less of a yoga class and more just like a stretch and like sleep.
Yeah, even when we did like just the downward dog, and there was like the one where we did the like lunge and then twisted our arm up.
Yeah.
It was like, even those two were really hard for me.
Yeah.
I was always bad at yoga.
Yeah.
Like anytime because I never go enough to like actually ever improve.
Yeah.
And like one of the things that really changes after you have a kid is usually your balance. And then your body composition also changes. So then that makes it like more difficult because you're just like, I don't know where things are.
I mean, that was a really good class for you then.
Yeah.
It was mostly like sleeping.
Everybody else was like falling asleep and I was like heavily breathing and sweating and actually really trying.
That's okay. That's good. It was a good class.
I actually think someone fell asleep because it's hard to tell in yoga because they do that thing where they like breathe like really heavy and then they go like,
I think someone did because I heard them go like or something. Like they kind of woke up.
I mean,
like wake yourself up.
Good for them.
Yeah, whatever.
That could never happen for me.
Were we both gonna say something at the same time there?
No, I was gonna be like, I hope she doesn't ask what I'm editing.
I know, like I actually had something to edit this week, but I finished it yesterday. Yeah. So like I don't even have anything to edit today.
Oh, don't you worry, it's coming. I have 2 shoots this weekend.
Nice. I have minis tomorrow. I only booked 1 spot.
You gotta put them back in your story right now.
It's okay. I just invited my friends to come.
Oh.
I always do it, and I actually love that I do that. I'm like, I have a couple free spots. Just show up. And I get my friends free photos.
You get them.
I love it. And then I get to see them.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Where are they? I'm not coming.
Oh, okay. I was like, is everyone going to show up?
Like, this is awkward.
That's Millworks.
This is also air. Oh, right.
Yeah. No, it'll air after. It'll be too late for you guys.
Wait, tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow.
It's Saturday. What time are you there?
12.
Oh, I'm there at 2.
No way. Oh, I'll still be there because I also have a boudoir shoot after. No. Yeah, I do. I have a boudoir shoot there.
We can reenact the first time we met.
Perfect.
If you want.
Sure.
You can be sitting and be like, hey, are you Dorothy? And I'll be like, yeah, and then walk away.
You should also ask me if I'm a pedophile.
No, that's not our story.
I know. I was just kidding.
Also, you can't just say words like that on the internet.
It's already out there.
Yeah, but that's different. There's context to the story.
People know it.
Yeah.
Our true followers know it.
Yeah, sure. We don't really even have a segue for any of this stuff this week, eh?
What do you mean? We're going to our highs and lows just like that.
That was our high and our low? My high?
Oh. No. Just like this.
Oh.
What is your high?
Here, I'll do it. So you start.
Oh, you want me to start with my high?
You always have like 10 highs.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I tried to cut them down.
She's such a positive person. I'm like, I can't even think of one.
Come on. Also, because this week we had basically 2 weeks to pull from because we didn't record last week. So yeah, technically my ice plunge was last week's high.
Yeah.
Which,
because you did it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Loved it. Proud of myself. I also went to an astrology natal chart reading.
Natal.
That's what it's called.
Interesting.
Like
It's like prenatal.
your like astrology chart is called your natal chart.
Nice. So you figured out what time you were born at?
Yeah.
What time were you born at?
11:30 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
July 17th.
Crazy, actually.
Yeah.
You're not a night person at all.
I probably came out sleeping.
Well, yeah. Did you ask?
No, I
your
am
mom?
a night person. What are you talking about? I'm not a morning person.
Are you either?
Yeah. Well,
Like night person, by night person, I mean like you're out, you're doing things. You're just at
if I'm
home
already out, I'll
in
be
a
fine.
ball.
If I'm already out, I'm good. If I have to leave the house when it's late, then no.
Yeah.
I feel like most people my age are like that.
My age.
Well, our age.
No, just like
Millennials. Aren't they? Aren't you? Or will you go out still?
I don't know. But I'm also like, I also have a kid, which I feel like changes things because
Yeah.
you're just like exhausted as soon as like the day hits.
It's also like you're automatic out. You're like, I can't have a kid.
Yeah.
It's an easy one. I learned a lot of things. I took a lot of notes. They don't make sense. I am a Cancer. My moon is in Libra and my rising is a Pisces.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interesting.
And she was saying that, you know, when you like read your horoscopes,
Yeah.
not to read for your sun sign, it's to read for your rising.
Oh, that's interesting. I
Yeah.
don't know what that means, but
I don't know either.
somebody will help you figure that out 'cause it's not going to be me.
Well, I do know what it means. It's just hard to explain. Like she's good at explaining it, but I'm just like Pisces is
Then why do they be like, oh, here's whatever, this is the one that you read? Like, why do they lay it out that way if they're like, don't read it that way?
because I have no idea.
Yeah. And then
You sound like Keith. Keith was like grilling me the whole time because I was telling him all these things, and he's like, "That's what they do. They like say like, oh, you don't feel this? Then you should read this because this is how you would
that's where
feel."
I was getting to,
Oh.
but
Just like giving options and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
seeing which one you feel the most connected with, and being like, "Yeah, that's the one."
yeah, nailed it.
Nailed it. See, it's true. No, it was really interesting. It like confirmed a lot of things
Yeah.
that I already knew.
Yeah.
And here,
Crazy.
this is what she said my life themes are. Creativity,
Whoa. I would have never guessed.
right? Helping others,
Okay.
partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
community,
Yep.
and emotion.
Okay. So I feel like this is like an interesting thing because you did the Enneagram right before you went.
Yeah, I know. That's what I
And-
told her too.
Like, it just depends on what route you want to take because, like, yeah, sure, knowing those things are helpful. And then, the Enneagram's also helpful. It's just
Yeah.
like whatever route you want to go.
Exactly. But it was so interesting to me that my Enneagram also told me those exact things, and then she told me those things. So I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
you know? Like I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a weird thing for someone else to tell you that you're those things.
Yeah. I just wonder if it's like, I'm trying to, I don't know what's going on in my brain. Like, yeah.
It's a weird thing to talk about because we don't know a lot about it.
Yeah. So I don't want anybody to come for me and be like, you're an idiot. I'm like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
That's
that's literally
literally
about the Enneagram, but because like I find it helpful because it like I don't know if you just get like nuggets of truth with that or if you can dive in deeper. But like with the Enneagram, it's like there's so many places you can go with that because if you dive further, there's like this like diagonal like double star thing where you're like, okay, you ended up being a 2-3.
Yeah, or 3-2 or something.
Yeah, whatever. So like it'll tell you like, oh, so you'll work well with like this personality, or it'll tell you like you know, if you're not in a healthy place, this is how you act.
Yeah.
So you might act, I actually don't know, I'd have to look it up, but like I'm just gonna throw it out there, like if you're a 2 and you're unhealthy, you act more like a 6.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. That's
Yeah.
probably wrong, but I'm just saying like it gives you like being like, well, why am I acting like this, or like what's going on, or like giving you insight to like how you're feeling and stuff, because like sometimes you just don't know.
Yeah. That's so cool. It's very similar to the astrology thing too.
Yeah. I just feel like there's like endless information out there. There's like podcasts, there's accounts, there's books. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So like I'm a 3-4 and then Ruben's a 7, and it's like Ruben can be more of a 7. I don't know what the name of it is, but it's like he's always got like his head in the clouds and like planning the next adventure. And it's like very typical of that number. And then like for me, like I'm like always trying to like break my life into like these attainable like little successful nuggets where I can get work done. And it's like so true because I always have like 50 things to do, but it's like small things. It could even just be brushing my teeth. I'm like, did it? Because like it's really hard when you have a kid to like literally get that done. Because I'm like, you know,
always like that, or before you had a kid, were you
like,
different?
It might have been less noticeable, but yeah, like I definitely like you can tell right now because I think I've applied it to my website where it's like I have to write a blog, and then from the blog I have to make a reel, and then from the reel I have to put it on Instagram, and then put it on Pinterest, and then you know like it's just like I'm just like okay, next. But it's less like it's not OCD. It just comes like very free and flowing, and sometimes I get all those things done and sometimes I don't. Like it's not like I'll have a meltdown if I don't get them done. I just feel really like accomplished. Yeah, I do.
That's good.
Yeah, and I really like when I have an idea, I want to do that idea.
Yeah.
But doing the idea is more successful than doing the idea successfully. like that's where we differ because like you're more on that perfectionist side where you're like, it has to be done right and properly. Like even when we do those reels and you're like, I'm like, let's just go here because the light's great, and you're like, no, I don't like it, I'm gonna go get a light. And you're like, I'm gonna light this reel properly, and I'm like, that is too much work.
Sometimes I'm like that. If it's an easy fix, I'll do it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, whereas I don't care if it's easy or not, it's an extra step I'm not gonna do.
Except for when we were filming that other reel and you wanted it to be all in the shade and we had to move the entire thing. And then it wasn't in the shade. And so we had to move it back
on it. I'm like, it's fine.
It's great. That's what I said. I wanted to tell you about my spin class because the teacher had 2 bikes up on the podium because they were doing like team taught classes because they were doing a new release, but there wasn't a second teacher up there. So he was like, does anyone want to come up and spin with me like up on the podium? And I did it. I was in front of everybody.
Oh my gosh.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah, because you were probably like, I have to be perfect.
So I wasn't though. It's impossible. So hard.
You actually should come over and try the Peloton someday.
Okay.
I was thinking about this because I noticed the spin class that we did. I know that girl said she was like tired and she had taught like 6 in a row, but I was like, she doesn't tell you like how hard your bike really should be.
Yeah.
She doesn't tell you much.
Every teacher's different.
Yeah.
Like that teacher that I was with, he was telling exactly what gear you should be on, exactly the speed you should be going.
Yeah.
Every teacher's different.
Yeah.
But
so the Peloton instructors, usually they're just like whatever, hanging out. Some are like, again, more technical or whatever. But then on the screen, it tells you like what range you should be in.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I would love to try it.
Yeah, you should.
Thank you for inviting me to do all your fun things.
I mean, it's just at my house. You're welcome to go in anytime.
And then I'll go in the plunge.
Yeah.
When do you get your new one?
I don't know. I think like June.
Oh, okay.
But it will be in good time for like the summer because the other one is going to be warm.
Yeah. I'll just bring over ice every time I do it.
Just 2 bags of ice.
Look at me talking about doing a plunge again.
Yeah.
My last high was that I went to Granddad's
again
the other day.
Yeah.
And they knew who I was.
Yeah. I told you, see, like you thought, remember when one of our first podcasts, you were like, yeah, like you're famous. I was like, no.
They literally know me through you.
No, but like this is just Hamilton. It's so small that like it's big, but it's small.
Yeah, but also like I made a reel and tagged them.
Yeah, exactly. So but I've been doing that for like 10 years. I used to like go around to all the cafes and take photos, and like I've worked for like tons of businesses. Like it just happens, you know?
Yeah.
So like if you're walking down a street where you're like, oh, I've done photos for like that boutique, or like whatever.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah. And you've been doing it for so long. That's why you know everybody.
Well, I don't do it anymore, but yeah.
You don't need to. You ran out of people to do it for because you know everyone.
My last one was for Sunny, and I just did it for them because they were friends.
And now they're gone.
Those pies were so great. So good. You did a shoot for me.
Come back, Sonny.
He's like, hey, come be in a shoot with pie, and you can eat
vegan pies.
Vegan pie. That was so fun.
What's your high?
I had a pretty good week getting all my workouts done. I also did an ice plunge with actual ice.
A real one.
And I thought it was going to be scarier than it was, but it was fine.
Good.
And
how long did you stay in for?
I think they make you go on for like just under 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But then I did another ice plunge at home, and we had bought an ice, and I stayed in for like 5 minutes, and then I couldn't recover from the cold.
Really?
Yeah, because I was just like, let's do it. And then while I was sitting in there, I was like, I'm not even cold. So I just kept sitting. And then when I got out, I was like, I'm freezing. And then it took me like hours to like warm up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Might have done too much too fast, but
I wonder how long you're supposed to, like, is it better if you have a sauna to go into?
I don't know. Didn't Google that part, but it did say on the internet, because I was like, oh, I wonder, like, so biking, I think like for 30 minutes is like 100 calories.
Mm-hmm.
For 10 minutes in a cold plunge is 80 calories burned.
Wow.
All you're doing is sitting there for 10 minutes.
And trying to stay alive, though.
I don't think you're supposed to be. I don't know what the max limit is. I've never looked that up. Because it's like, I think if you sat in there for like an hour, you'd be like, well, hyperthermia.
Yeah.
Death.
Yeah.
Although I think the water would warm up.
In the little one, yeah.
Yeah.
But people do it in like the lake. So.
Yeah. So no.
No.
So that was the other thing about doing the ice one. I noticed that like I clammed up for a moment, and then, because we talked about this, and then I noticed that when I like opened up like, you know, like your elbow and your arm from away from your like armpit, and you're like, I moved my legs, and so my like all my hinges were kind of like moving and open, and I noticed it got cold again. And so I was like, oh, that's why like people say to move, because your body tries to retain whatever heat wherever they can.
Yeah.
So I noticed like I did that for like a few minutes, and then I was like, oh, it's not so bad. And then I started moving, and I was like, oh no, it's still cold.
Wow, I warmed it up.
Yeah.
What's your low?
Well, I had a call with the hospital for the bariatric weight loss clinic. People might know what this is, but like, it was so long. It was like an hour and a half, and essentially I decided not to do it. But
what is bariatric? What does that mean?
I don't know what the word itself means, but there's 2 ways they help you like lose weight. One is like a surgery. I think they like staple your stomach smaller. But man, it's so intense. And then the other one is like a weight loss. Basically, like the first 6 weeks you just drink a meal replacement, and then after that they teach you how to like eat. So they talk about like protein and stuff. And I was talking to Ruben, I was like, I'm not an ideal candidate for this, because like, first of all, I am healthy, I eat well, I watch what I'm eating, and like I was like, I just need like a dietitian to like talk to weekly to be like, yeah, you hit all your goals or whatever, because I'm tracking it in like my fitness pal, but then it's like I still don't see anything move because of the thyroid and then leaky gut. And then I talked to this lady who actually owns or started Goodness Me, and she was like, she said, I had heard that you cannot heal leaky gut if your thyroid is high. And so like there's all these like blockages that like lead into blocking, because then you're like, well, something has to give for like the ball to start rolling.
So you have to heal the thyroid first.
Yeah, which is impossible, because to do that you have to lose weight.
Well, can you speed it up if you did like clinically lose weight, like
the bariatric weight loss
clinic?
Yeah, so that's where my mind went. I was like, what if I did this clinic, lost some weight, so that like my hormones and my thyroid would like adjust back to normal, and then heal leaky gut. That was my thought process. It's hard to make the call, because I was basically like, oh, I should do this, and then I'm just like, you have to be on a call at 1 hour a week, And then I think you have an in-person class monthly or every other week. And they're just at whatever time. They don't ask you when it works for you. So it's like I would have to like
Bring basil?
It would be a lot of work.
Man. That's
a really long low because it's just like I want a quick fix, but there is no quick fix. So
yeah.
But yeah. Slow and steady.
We're here with you.
We're
here with you. We'll do the stairs. We should do the stairs.
Yeah. So this is the other thing is that the person that was in the 75 group, hard group, she came to the film walk and she was like, you know, I'm a kinesiology, like she has a PhD. And she was like, if you have inflammation, working out a ton is actually not good for you.
Yeah.
So it's like being mindful of the workouts you're doing that don't cause your body stress. So that's why they always say like walking, cycling, yoga, ice plunge.
And that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Good job.
And the stairs is just walking vertically. So,
I mean, yeah.
I will be stressed the entire time for sure. But like, I'll try that at least once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you not done them before?
No, I used to do them all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I've done every workout. I've been working out since I was like 20.
Well, yeah, and you've lived in Hamilton where there's just like stairs to do that. I haven't.
I have like a video of me going up them carrying my bike because I used to bike somewhere, go up the stairs and then do like a circuit and then come back down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fun. Okay, I have a low.
Oh. You never have lows. Are you okay?
I'm okay. We lost our championship game.
Oh yeah.
On Sunday.
I was like, what could even possibly have been? I was
really sad. I was so nervous going into it.
You told me it was your championship game.
Yeah. It was the finals. And we had beaten that team before too.
Oh man.
Which sucked. But I think I was just so freaking nervous.
You know how the saying goes, you win some, you lose some.
It's true. Literal truth.
Can't win them all.
And that was my last soccer game for like probably till the winter. Because I'm not going to play during the summer.
That's fair. That's very wise of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we do a quick talk about Jeff?
Yeah, but our topic is about vendors.
Vendors
playing well together, which I thought was interesting because it's one of my main goals this year. And whenever I talk to people about this, they're always like, you play fine with vendors. And I was like, yes. But I was like, I think that there's some people who go like above and beyond, being like meeting them, saying hello, making sure they're getting photos of them and like sending them out. And I'm like, I want to try to go that far.
Yeah.
Because like, I feel like up until now, I've just been like unaware more or less, like, hey, and then like I'm
working
just doing my thing.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it doesn't create community. And just trying to see things from like the other person's perspective. So for example, like I would always go into a space during hair and makeup and be like, why are they always late? I can never figure this out. And then you go in and like all the lights are on and you're like, you just like don't even say hi and you start turning off the lights. I mean, I don't actually do that. But then the other day, some makeup artist was like, yeah, photographers always walk in, start turning off all the lights while I'm mid-application. They don't even say hi to me. And I was like, wow,
yeah,
that is rude.
That is rude. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always been good at saying hi to other vendors and like respecting their job. Yeah. They've been hired just like I have. So
yeah.
It's weird. It's weird for people to do that shit.
Well, just like not understanding, like, you know, like for me, I'm like, I would love to know, like, yeah, like why hair and makeup is always like late. And it's like, it could be, probably has nothing to do with them. It's probably the fact that it's like, you're trying to get somebody in the chair and they're like, I'll be there in a second.
Yeah.
And like, you know, they usually have a schedule and then it's like, it just adds up, you know, like 1 second. If everyone's like 1 second, it's like, well, there's 10.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
It just makes sense.
And I think they don't want to stress out anyone. So like, they don't want to feel like they're rushing anyone.
Yeah.
So like, they just I've noticed that most hair and makeup people are very chill.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the gig. Like, you have to be a chill person. And I think for us, we also need to try to be more chill.
Well, we are chill, but when it like funnels into our time.
I know, exactly.
And then you want to get all your stuff done.
Exactly.
And I think that's the thing too, is like,
it's easy for them because they're at the beginning.
yeah. Well, then it's just kind of like, I mean, I always walk in going like, this is the plan, but it's, or you have no plan. I feel like no plan for me always works out best because you're like, if we have time, we'll do the things.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a set, like I want to get a first look, I want to do a champagne pop, I want to hand out gifts, I want to get a photo in our robes, I want to get like us getting dressed, I want a special moment with my mom, I want to read a letter.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, you need a full hour.
Yeah.
Plus.
Yeah.
So
you just gotta kind of mediate and be like, well, we have time for 2 of those things. Pick your favorite 2. Because, yeah.
And then I think that's where like it's been interesting seeing Jeff's social media because there's all this rage about officiants like not getting out of the way. And it's so true because I think I wonder if it's like a generational thing too, because before it was kind of just like it didn't matter to get that photo without the officiant. You just got the photo and that was that. And then all of a sudden it became important to get it without the officiant. And it does make sense.
Yeah.
Like, you know, do you really want your photo with like the guy behind you just smiling?
Staring at you?
And
also,
like,
sometimes it catches focus of the officiant instead of the people kissing, which is the worst.
And then I think, I don't know, because I'm like, I don't remember this being a thing when I started.
Yeah.
You just grabbed the photo. Or maybe I was unaware.
No, it wasn't
the
a
last
thing
like
before
7-8 years. It's like, get out of the way. So he had this like video and he was like, like some photographers just like come up to me and they're like, hey, like just make sure you get out of the way for the kiss. See ya. And he's like, no hello.
I think in that instance, maybe the photographers don't want to like bother them or like just do like a quick, I don't want to take any of your time, but please move. Like, I don't know.
See, like I'm usually so chill because I'm just like, listen, if you don't already get out of the way, me asking you to get out of the way, you're probably still not going to do it.
Yeah. Or
so it's like you just get what you get.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So whenever officiants come up to talk to me, I'm always like, do your thing.
Most officiants actually tell me that they'll get out of the way. Like, I don't even have to ask.
Yeah.
Because they're so used to the photographer asking.
Probably. They're always like, just so you know, I'll get out of the way.
Yeah. Thank you. That's awesome. We like you.
Yeah. I normally do ask if I can like do the behind the photo or like come, like if they're okay with like walking around and stuff, because it could be distracting.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm super distracting.
Yeah.
I was like, walk over here.
Walk so
walk
much.
in here.
Yeah.
Well, whenever I have a second, I'm like, just stay on that side and I'll stay on this side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of us pop in the middle every once in a while. That's the good thing about having a second.
Okay. So we're having Jeff on the podcast. Whoop. Whoop, whoop. Hot Jeff. That's what my mom said. She's like, are you having the hot guy on?
You and your mom are so alike. I love how you're like, first of all.
First of all. All right. So I will read Jeff's intro. Dorothy wrote for me because I don't really like doing any of it.
Any grammar or spelling mistakes or anything that doesn't make any sense is on her.
No, more so I'm just giving you credit for doing the work.
Thanks.
You letting me read it.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff and his wife, as Ontario's highly praised wedding planners, officiants, and adventure elopement experts, devote themselves to ensuring couples are fully present on their special day. Together, they form a dynamic duo, leveraging their partnership and friendship to craft.
Distracting?
Yes, it's very distracting. Leveraging their partnership and friendship to craft unique celebrations. From planning and coordinating to officiating ceremonies, including wild elopements and city hall adventures, they pour their passion into creating magical moments for couples, cherishing the joy of marriage. Also, he likes Red Bull.
Yeah.
And then he commented, Star loves Red Bull.
Yeah. So that actually, I think I took directly off their website. I should say
it's a lot of big words.
But then I wrote, also he likes Red Bull.
Also likes Red Bull.
But yeah.
That's great.
It sums it up really well.
If you guys don't know, he's like, I would say the top wedding officiant in Southern Ontario area. He's like always booked. All of my couples that are like, we need an officiant, I'm like, use him, and they're like, he's booked already. And
Yeah.
even for my wedding, he was already booked.
Yeah.
So like, if you know you're gonna get married, book him first. Like,
Top priority.
top priority
Before
book
you
Jeff.
get engaged.
Yeah, before you get engaged.
Just inquire for a date and then book everything around Jeff. Who cares
Exactly.
about photography?
Yeah,
You only
exactly.
get Jeff for one day.
He's great. He's so funny. If you've ever been to any of Jeff's ceremonies, you would understand just
The hype.
the hype. Yeah, he's just so fun.
I'm sure there's... Okay, well, that was going to sound rude, but I was going to say, I'm sure there's equally as good.
I don't know.
And then there's different types, right? Like, I think we really connect with like the high energy, the humor, and there are some couples who are gonna want like
More traditional.
whimsical,
Yeah.
quiet,
Yeah.
spiritual like type of
That's true.
officiant, and then there's gonna be people who want something else.
Yeah.
So obviously you have to find a fit that matches your
Yeah.
personality, but like
You're right.
for what he's doing it really well,
Yeah.
and he's very good at it.
Yeah.
But there's room for other
Others.
style, I think.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's again one of my personal favorites. Like I've had a few others that I've worked multiple times with too, and like they're good. Ceremonies go really well.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just saying, like, I think we connect with it because like that's also our personalities.
Yeah. It's true.
Like we like the humor.
Yeah. I love my wedding ceremony. I feel like,
Your friend did it, right?
yeah, well, it was Keith's, what's she called? Like a counselor. Like
Not
his
therapist.
work. No, his work gets like a priest to come in every 2 weeks just to talk to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just to talk to everybody.
Whoa.
And Keith isn't religious, so, and she knows that. She's just like, let's just shoot the shit. So they just talk about whatever. Like they don't talk about
That's so
anything.
interesting. I've never heard of a business doing that.
Yeah. It's a like very religious workplace.
Golf?
Just ping in general.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So they have to come. It's like
Okay.
part of it. But yeah, so he's connected with her before, and he knows that she's cool, and she's cool about us not being religious. So yeah, she did a really fun ceremony for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. Should we call Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bling.
Okay. Let me.
We're hilarious. Hi, Jeff.
Hello, friends! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. We were talking about what was the topic?
Basically, vendors playing nice with each other.
Yeah. Dorothy was saying that sometimes people come up to you and they just say like, dude, get out of the way. That's it.
That's a true story. That happens actually very often. Yeah. It happens less and less. Hopefully at this point, people realize like, hey, like we should be a little bit nicer to people, just in general. But yeah, it happens. It happens often. A lot of it is like outside of this market. So if I'm in a different area where people don't know kind of what I'm about or what I do, you just get a little bit less of the personal like, hey man, we're on the same team. This is great. We're gonna have an awesome time today. And it's more like a, dude, just beat it for all the photos, okay? I'm like, oh, cool. Like, great to meet you. Sweet. Yeah, unless the team
Did a
thing.
really good job of that.
Yeah, well, I recognize. Look, nobody really wants me in these photos. Like, I need to be out of the key photos because the couple wants the best shots that you guys produce, right? And those are not the ones that I'm in or speaking in. Because as you've seen enough photos of an officiant talking, it's also hard to get a good photo of someone speaking, right? Their mouth is open, doing weird stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm like, look, I'll just balance out of as many photos as I can.
But it must be hard because you're like, I have a background in modeling. So, like, I'm just used to, like, hitting the mark.
Yeah, I mean, this is going back a couple of years ago, back when I was like less gray. I mean, check out what's going on here, right? This is a mess. Everything's gray. I'm turning old now. Nobody wants the haggard dude in any of the modeling stuff anymore. So those days are long gone.
I don't know if that's true, but
We always joke, and you've seen that we always joke about you being a good-looking officiant, and I think you are top of the game on officiant looks. I would say you're the first.
Well, thank you. I feel good about that.
My pleasure. We had a lot of fun this week recording those skits. Just basically.
Oh my gosh, you guys nailed those things. Those were so good. Those are super funny. Those are so good.
Thanks. What is your affliction with Red Bull? Are you actually like a huge Red Bull guy?
Yeah, I am. Sugar free, if I can put it out there to begin with. But look, I just want to get fired up. Pre-ceremony, get in the zone. Yeah, I can't drink all the calories. You don't need those. I don't want to break my calories. I want to eat them. And so there's something like nice about the ritual of like, look, show up to a ceremony. I don't know if you like. I drink a lot of Diet Coke too, and the feeling of like taking a cold Diet Coke out of the fridge and cracking it, like just see the sounds like, man, nice. And so
you know what's funny is we had 2 Red Bulls left, and we were gonna crack them open and be like, Jeff, do you know what that is?
Oh yeah,
pretty sure right
like just the sound.
Even the tall, skinny cans makes a different sound than like a 355 ml can. Like this is like how my brain works. I know the sound of this skinny can opening up. It's really bad. I probably cut that part.
Yeah, this is like the debate between like fountain pop, can pop, and bottled pop. Like bottled pop is garbage.
Yeah, get that.
You got it. Like fountain pop is top tier, then can if you can't have fountain, and it's got to have ice, obviously.
But the key is McDonald's fountain pop. It's got to be Diet Coke there because their ratio is the only one that's actually controlled, right? Which is why you go to some restaurants and they serve you Diet Coke. You're like, dude, this is awful. It's like, get this out of here. Because they just, it's all about the ratio. And so McDonald's is obsessed, which is why I love Diet Coke at McDonald's. $1 days in the summer. Are you kidding? Best days ever. Tons of ice, super cold. And they actually have people that monitor like the correct like amount of like just straight up poison from the Diet Coke that goes in there. So it's like bang on every time.
I think I see a field trip in our future testing out fountain pops.
100% you should. I would love to get the report on this too. I'd love to see it.
Oh yeah, that's our next field trip right there.
Especially since I have no knowledge in this as well.
Oh yeah,
I'm not a big pop drinker. Should we start asking actual questions?
Well, you know what?
Let's get into some stuff. Yeah, ask away.
I got your intro off of your website. Like when you meet somebody and they read your copy on your website, they can say like, okay, I agree with like everything that's on here. Like your intro is like, Jeff, a licensed wedding officiant across Ontario, much of the U.S., harbors a fondness for coffee and Red Bull, peppers conversation with Arrested Development, super bad quotes, balances workouts with indulgence of Pop-Tarts afterward, and he's affectionately dubbed Ryan Reynolds. I was like, well, I'm seeing that now.
Well, some of that stuff is, as I'm listening to that, I'm like, okay, some of that they added for sure. But man, I used to, you're bringing back some good days. I used to just crush Pop-Tarts. But we're talking about pure stuff like Diet Coke. Man, a good Pop-Tart, nothing quite like it. But anyway, that's off topic.
Okay, so we do actually have real questions for you.
Oh, I want to hear them. I want to hear the real questions. Fire away. Let's go.
So how did you get started? You were both models? That's what it says here. I didn't write this.
I know. It's super hard to believe, especially if you post any of this video, people are going to do this as grizzle. So Michelle, who's beautiful, still is, was modeling. She brought me into it. She's like, hey, you might enjoy doing some of this stuff. It's pretty hilarious, to be honest. Like I did it modeling like suits and, designers around town, stuff like that. Some pretty cool stuff, which was great. And she was modeling wedding dresses. So at that point, we already knew everyone in the space, at least locally, right? We knew hair, makeup, photographer, videographers, all the venues. We'd also kind of already found our people that we liked working with because we did it a lot. And then as we were getting asked more and more to help people plan their weddings, just friends and friends of friends kind of thing, there was definitely a moment where I said to Michelle, like, hey, one, this is a lot of work that you're doing. And two, I'm pretty sure there's a need for this. You're getting asked an awful lot. So clearly there's a demand for it. So maybe we should try and do this a little bit more formalized, a little bit more professionally. And that's what started. So that was 2012. So let's go back a couple of years. But that's when we kind of got things rolling. And then, as you start anything, you start small and just you see what happens. You have kind of no idea what to expect. And as it kept growing, that was great. A lot of our clients were looking for officiants. And there were some great people that did it at that time. There still are some great people. They just weren't the right fit for the couples that were finding us. So we were having trouble kind of matching them with the right person. And it's not to say they weren't doing a wonderful job. It's just that they had specific needs and we couldn't find that person. So I decided I would give it a shot because I felt like I'm actually pretty sure I'm what they're looking for, just in terms of, they wanted something not outrageous, but something a little bit more fun and upbeat and funny and engaging and dynamic. And that's like a little bit more of my presentation style. I want to tell stories and bring people in. And I generally just look for opportunities to have a good laugh. So I got licensed 2015, started doing it immediately, was like, this is the craziest, best job ever. And then it just continues to kind of go from there. So that's 9 years now.
So you started, was it a wedding planning business? Is that what it was?
That's right, yeah. Wedding business in 2012. And I was basically Michelle's second hand. So she did all the work and she did all the planning, and then she would just tell me what to do the day of. I was kind of like the move this, carry that.
Day of coordinator. Classic husband.
Yeah, I mean, in those days too, you'll do anything because it's like, man, this is like our first few weddings. I'm moving like 1,400 chairs, 3 kilometers. You're doing all sorts of stuff where it's like, man, that was crazy to do that stuff as like a 2-person operation. But
yeah, but we were young back then. Like,
that's right. I was way younger, and you're just motivated. You're like, who cares? I'll just do anything. I have no problem doing it, and you just want to do whatever makes a couple happy. So
I think back to like the days I did double weddings, and then I'd go on like a 2-hour hike the next day. Easy peasy. Easy.
Yeah, no problem.
It says here that you lived in Guatemala.
Yeah, so I led a gap year program, discipleship program in 2009, 10, and 11. And that's basically like for high school students that finish school, they're like, man, I don't know what I want to do. And they're between 17, 20 years old. They're trying to figure stuff out. I led a university program that would take them across Canada and then take them to Guatemala. And I did that for a few years and fell in love with Guatemala, spent a lot of time there. Proposed to Michelle in Guatemala, flew her down there. So it's got a special place for us there. And we started a charity a couple of years ago, and we do work in Guatemala as well. I go there every year, and currently we're funding homes to be built there. So it's like a huge connection there. Love it. Have a huge passion for the people, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place.
That's so cool. Wow.
Do you find that because like even for my Instagram, sometimes it's like, oh, you're a wedding photographer and you post about your work. And then when you post like things that like this, do you find like people are confused? You get a lot of questions. Like, do you think people like can connect or understand the story if they've been following along for a while? Like, I remember the first time you went down being like, what is this guy doing down here? Like,
yeah. So I think there's a handful of things with that. One, if you don't post some of that stuff, you'll never get over the hump of people saying, what is this guy doing down there? So now that I posted it a few times and maybe got a couple of those reactions, now it's common enough that I can post maybe every few weeks or a month, something to do with the charity work that we're doing. And it's not strange or weird, and people know. One of the aspects of the work that we do as well, because it's a charity, but also a religious denomination, is that we can appoint marriage officiants in the province of Ontario. So we can actually license people to perform ceremonies.
Wow.
So a lot of the work that we do is actually late in that we're all working in the wedding space, like with people getting married, with officiants, training officiants, appointing them, performing weddings. We have a wedding venue. Like it's all kind of in the same realm, but they're just different aspects of that work. But I also want people to like kind of join into the story of like what I'm trying to do. And so I purposely post kind of 4 separate categories, like Mac wedding stuff, chapel stuff, charity, and family, because that's kind of the 4 things in my life that are really important. And if you want to get to know me, because it's a personal job that I do, I kind of want you to see some of the other stuff that I'm up to as well.
Exactly. I think it's good to post not just your wedding stuff. I think it's nice for people to see who you really are and be able to relate to you. So I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also led to some great conversation with people too that see the work that I do, and I get messages from people like, "Dude, I do know you did this. How can I support it? How can we get involved?" And so had I not posted it, I would never have made kind of some of those connections too. So it's actually been very helpful.
Yeah, you got to use your platform for other things too, especially charity.
For sure,
it's nice.
Yeah.
You allude like on your website to having like good reviews, and primarily because like you and Michelle put so much of yourselves in your business, and like you said, like on your Instagram and stuff. So do you think that helped you really obviously it helps you connect with your ideal client, but do you think that's led to most of your success, like just being honestly who you guys both are?
Yeah, and I think for officiating, specifically when I think of that, I'm just me. Like I found that to be the easiest way to do my job, is to not put on anything for the ceremony. I'm pretty consistent with like the way that I'm speaking now, the way that I speak at ceremonies, the way that I do calls, all that type of stuff. It's very similar cadence, pace, tone. And that's important because I want there to be continuity between when you read the website, see the Instagram, we chat, it's all the same dude. There's no like surprises where you're like, oh man, this is not at all what I expected. Like someone clearly wrote his website for him and someone definitely did this
That's
for him.
what I thought.
And so if it's not the same, I find people are, I don't know, they can always be let down. They're like, oh, you're not maybe quite what I thought you were. Reviews are obviously very significant and super important. And I see the importance in them for other people's businesses as well. I like to leave people reviews, even businesses that I've gone to once or twice. If I've had exceptional service or experience, I want to call that person out by name because it's important. And I think people really feel valued when they know people took the time to notice that they did a good job.
Yeah. I think also you're just such a fun officiant that I just imagine that you get a lot of gigs through referrals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's, I mean, the story that I tried to put out there for couples through Instagram, through marketing, through whatever is, look, my understanding is if you're having a wedding, it's likely a celebration. Like the goal is to celebrate you getting married. It's not to mourn some moment. And so if you're celebrating, everything should be pretty fun. And so my messaging to couples is, look, like if you want the ceremony to be a reflection of that as well, that's literally exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to set the pace and the tone for the day on a high note and say, look, we're here to celebrate, folks. I want to have some fun. I want you to clap and cheer and be into this thing with me. So when you go into cocktail hour, it's on a high note. It's not on like a somber note of like, dear goodness, I need to have a drink because this was like such a boring ceremony. I want people to be like, man, like this was the best. Like I'm fired up. Let's have some fun. And then it carries on through the night. So I'm trying to like set the day off on that trajectory.
Yeah, you do a really good job. Like from what we had that one year where we had 3 weddings in a row and then I never saw you again. But you like tell really good stories and it's also like not about you. Like you have it where like some officiants they tell stories, but it's like between the officiant and the couple. Like, oh, you came in and I met you and we had this great conversation. But like your stories are like very much about them, which has been like really cool. I feel like I learn about a lot about them. Like I'm laughing or like almost crying. I'm just like, oh, this is an emotional ride. Like,
and I think that's like the tricky and challenging part of doing what I do, and maybe with a certain type of personality too, is it's easy to make it about yourself. I mean, here I am, I'm standing at the front, I've got a microphone, everyone's listening to me. Ultimately, everyone's attention is on the couple, not on me. So that's, that doesn't just happen by chance. There's some work that goes into it to really do that.
I bet. I want to ask, what's your favorite wedding that you've officiated? Oh, do you have like, I know you've done some really cool ones. You've done like helicopter ones and stuff. Like, I can't imagine you have one that's like top.
Man, I've had some like incredibly emotional ones, and some of those are significant and stand out. I've got a lot of stories of those. I mean, ultimately, when you're doing weddings, you enter into someone's life at like a pretty pivotal moment. Oftentimes, there's family dynamics that are going on. Sometimes there's, unfortunately, there's death in families, and you deal with some pretty heavy stuff. And as the officiant, you kind of end up being the person who is part of that because they're talking to you about it, so you understand kind of their story and their situation. And sometimes there's a parent right before or after or something. And so there's a lot of those that stand out as like pretty emotional ones. I think maybe one of the highlight ones that I did was the very first helicopter elopement that we did, because it really was. You guys are probably similar. I think creative people are kind of like this. I like to dream a lot of just creating cool things. And if anyone's followed anyone out west, helicopter elopements like through the Rockies is like pretty commonplace. And I thought, man, why the heck can't we do something awesome here? Like, there's no reason that we can't do that. And so I found the helicopter company. We flew around and scouted out an island to do the elopement. And then you have to find a couple to convince them that this is a good idea too. So like, there's a lot of moving parts. It wasn't as easy as just like, oh, this couple wanted to do it. Like, there's a lot of work that went into it. And right. I put it out there. A couple reached out, said, Jeff, dude, we're in, sign us up for this thing. And the entire experience, again, you don't know what's going to happen because you've never done it before. And part of you is like, what have I done? And the other part is this could just be a cool adventure and it could be exciting. And I went with Taylor Jackson, who you know as well, I'm sure. And so I felt like we're in good hands. We're going to figure this thing out regardless of the weather situation, regardless of any obstacles that come up. We ended up having one of the most incredible sunsets ever. The photos are insane. Everything about it was a 10 out of 10, and the couple was blown away.
Yeah. And you made that now into like an additional part of your business, right? Eloper and Co. or whatever?
Yeah, Elopers and Co. We wanted to, again, when you talked about posting different things on Instagram, that can be confusing for couples. The trickier part, I think, is actually having multiple brands and getting eyes on things. It's hard to get people's attention. And then if you diversify that attention by saying, here's our elopements, here's our wedding planning, here's our officiating, here's our chapel stuff, it starts to get hard to get people to see it. And so I wanted to house it all in the same place. So if you found me, you would know that Jeff has a chapel. He does elopements. He does here are all the things that he does. So it became a little bit easier to find. And the elopements are for the right couple. I think it's the best way to get married. And Ontario has some insane locations to get married. I don't necessarily.
Where?
Well, I don't think Ontario has been. I don't think Ontario couples eloping is like on their radar. Like I just don't think it's super common, and so you don't see any photos of it. Whereas out west, that everyone elopes, right? Like there's fewer wedding venues and far more elopements, and so the culture here doesn't exist as much. And we're trying to like push it forward a little bit to say, look, if this is you, and the couples that reach out are always like, dude, the idea of standing up there in front of 150 people freaks us out. We want nothing to do with that. I'm like, that's the couple I'm trying to find, or the couple that says, this moment's about us and celebrating a moment together. It's not about hosting everyone. We love them all, but like, that's not our idea of celebrating. We want to celebrate our relationship. When I find those couples, I'm like, oh man, you are going to love eloping, because that's exactly at the heart of it. That's what it is. It's just celebrating that couple.
Yeah. And then you also have DTK Chapel,
which stands for Downtown Kitcheners, in case.
Oh, I know. I remembered that, but I was like, say it correctly. I was like, I have a smidgen of what's it called, dyslexia.
Yo, it's good. You know what's funny too is we took over that. So we acquired that business in 2021 from the previous owner during COVID, which was a bit crazy to do too, because who knows what was going to happen. And I just had a pretty good feeling that we could make this thing really beautiful and really great. I remember when we rebranded it, changed it. They did a news piece on it, which was cool. And I had someone send me a direct email and say, hey, love the changes that you've made. What a dumb name. And honestly, I died laughing. I was like, this person took the time out of their day to look me up online, find the email, write that email, and hit send. And I was amazed. I was like, good for you. Like, that's fantastic. For people that are maybe outside of the DTK area, they might not know that moniker, but like the whole DTK, that's what it's called, right? Like,
I love it.
But I was like, good for you, man. And I wrote back, and I was like, man, that's an awesome opinion. Super thankful you sent that my way. Take care. Lose my email. Very funny.
So Michelle's, you have a team of 3 and they run that, or is Michelle planning that as well?
At the chapel?
Yeah.
So we run it. It's entirely separate. We've got 6 people there.
And 6.
They help make it go, because we do weddings there 7 days a week. And I mean, even this week we had, I don't even know, maybe 15 or 16 ceremonies this week already. Because there are people getting married every day of the week at City Hall.
Yeah.
And so we perform all of the city's weddings. So if you were to go and get married at any city hall in the province, you get married by a clerk or a JP or judge or something like that. But in Kitchener specifically, they privatized it. And so we have the space to do it, which is why the space looks really beautiful and pretty, and we can do fun ceremonies. It's not in the boardroom. It's not in chambers. It's not like kind of boring. It's actually really fun, because I get to do it, and I get to kind of decide the direction of those ceremonies. And so we've drawn on both the people that are traditionally getting married at City Hall. So we're helping them get married. And then through word of mouth and through people knowing me, we're kind of attracting that group of people too that are intentionally looking for smaller spaces to get married, because we have a capacity of 40 there.
Right. Yeah. Crazy. That was insane.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's been a blast. It's been wild. And in that space alone, last year we did over 400 ceremonies, which is crazy. And and this year's been busier too, which is awesome. So, I mean, I think we're also seeing a shift in people doing some smaller ceremonies and planning it's just a bit of an uncertain time, right? I think, financially and stuff for people that are trying to figure out how can I still celebrate in a way that's really beautiful and great, but maybe do a bigger celebration or a bigger reception later on, looking at next year or something like that. So we're seeing a lot of those couples, which is cool. Because I also don't want people to sacrifice, right? You don't want people to feel like, man, I just did this lame thing because we just wanted to get married. So our spot is intentionally designed to be awesome. It shoots super well. It's really bright. It's pretty in there. We had a designer design everything. So
yeah,
nice.
Anyways,
Are you officiating all those weddings every day?
So I do a lot of them in there, but then we've got a team that'll handle primarily the dates that I'm not available, because with Maeck weddings, with our other weddings, those couples generally book anywhere from a year to 2 years in advance. And so if I'm booked on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday with Maeck weddings, then our team steps in to work those ones at the chapel, so we can kind of have help couples celebrate in a couple different places at once.
Yeah, nice.
It's crazy because I think about how I met you.
Yeah.
And it's just that's the funny thing about the wedding industry is that you're just signed up with a bunch of people you don't know, and you show up and you basically try to play nice all day, even if you come from different backgrounds or different ways of doing things. And I think for the most part, vendors do a really good job, because we're not a business that is all together. We are coming from different places. And I remember that first wedding, actually, Effie, you were with me. And it was funny because the other day on the podcast, she told me a story that happened at that wedding. And I was just where was I when this was happening? So I remember walking in and you were just so bubbly and happy. And I think I was a swampy, pregnant, tired, mess of a human. And I walk into the space and I'm oh my gosh, it's so small. And I'm trying to come up with a plan with the videographer. And, I say something I'm standing, how about I stand here, you stand here. And then, of course, everything goes sideways. Half the time they do. But yeah, I just remember you being hi. And I was what did I even say? Did I even say hi? I don't know what I said. And I'm just that's the mindset. Sometimes photographers are coming in and then you're your hair is perfectly coiffed. You're just you probably still smell good.
Right.
None of those things are true for me.
And then you get a bit of an advantage though for officiating, right? When I show up, I haven't been working all day. You've been working hours already. You've been working hard. I'm showing up and I'm man, I'm fresh. I'm just crush a Red Bull and feel good. Right. This place is beautiful. And so it's simple, but man, that space was weird too, because remember the ceremony took place in the middle and there was people sitting on either side.
Yeah.
So I'm performing a ceremony which is normally facing forward, and I'm actually doing this, and then talking over here, and then talking to the couple. It was a very different. Yeah. I mean, the photos are stunning. You would never know that was the case, but
yeah, you kept popping in and out, and we kept popping around, and I was how do we even get a photo without Jeff?
You just wing it. I feel that was one of those moments where I was man, we're just gonna make it work. This is a totally awkward setup, but we're gonna figure it out, and great.
The last thing that I had written down was I actually saw on your website. Sorry, I obviously stalked your website to get you.
Yeah, you totally did. 100%. Yeah.
But I was oh, this is so neat. I've never seen this on a website where you literally list all the photographers in no order of all the images you used. And I was you walk the walk, you talk the talk, you also credit people. I was that's really cool. So that's just A+.
Believe me, I know how lucky I am to work with super talented people like you guys, like a lot of the photographers I get to work with. And you guys are so generous with your work, right? About sharing it with me, because, when you hop on my Instagram, you'll see that I generally only post high-res professional images. And obviously I don't take any of those. So I rely on people like you to help me produce that content. And so I'm super thankful whenever I get it. So if I can point people in a certain direction, I'm happy to do it and say, look, these people are awesome. Not only do they do great work, you're going to love them the day of, but they're also generous. They also share their work. They're not the gatekeeper of, this is my work, you're not getting it. Oh, if I'm going to send it to you, here's how you need to tag it. You need to watermark it with my friggin' handle across the picture. You need to quote it. I'm man, pump the tires here, guys. I understand it's your work. I'm thankful for it. But weren't we all collaborating on this team? Didn't didn't we all play a bit of a role in this? And so I appreciate that you guys are always so willing to give your work like that.
I feel like we need tips for our couples and maybe tips for vendors if you had any, or if you only have one.
One of the things that I'm going to try my best over the coming months to remind couples of is when you're hiring people for your wedding day, you're creating a team of people. My kind of push to them is to say, hire a team, one that's professional, it's going to do a great job, but that's going to work well with the other people. I think that's really important. When I look at doing ceremonies, one of the things that I do that's unique, and I don't do things just because they're unique, I just do it because of my style. I don't share ceremony scripts with couples before their wedding day. And so it's actually a full surprise. They don't know what I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. And now, look, that took a lot of years to build enough credibility, reviews, referrals, all that stuff for me to tell a couple that and say, look, I'm not going to share the ceremony script with you, but I know you're going to love it. If you looked online and you didn't find anything about me, you might be like, this guy's probably crazy. Like, who knows what he's going to say? What if it's offensive? But at this point, I feel like I've done the work. Like, you could ask around, you'll probably get some good reviews, and that's helpful. And so all that to say, hire professional people who you can trust the day of and let them do their thing in the style that's their style, like the way that they do it. And the reason I don't share ceremony scripts with couples is because I've found through a lot of weddings that by them not knowing what I'm going to say, it forces them to be hyper present during the ceremony with me for every word.
Right.
Instead of checking out and being like, oh, I already know what he's going to say, or, oh, I chose the text, so I already know what he's going to read.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. For my wedding too, I loved that it was a surprise and we didn't know. I definitely felt like I was more present and I was just definitely listening.
Good. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much for coming on. I think you're the first guest that hasn't been a photographer or videographer, right?
No, Jules.
Oh yeah, never mind. You're not.
I take that back. No, you're not.
I take it back. But it was really cool to get some other vendor perspective on the podcast.
Yeah, we were obviously really excited about it because we did 3 reels this week.
No, they were so good. They were so funny. They were so good.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Thank you. Is it done?
Thank you all so much.
I'm going to stop. Bye. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
I can't believe we finally got the Hawkeye on.
Yeah. So as he was doing the interview, once I had read that he was like had the Ryan Reynolds, I just was like, that's all I can hear now. So if you want a Ryan Reynolds lookalike,
it's true.
It's mostly the voice and the like
mannerisms
more than actual looks.
Yeah.
Lots to say there. Like so many businesses.
I know. He's a busy guy.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Smart. And like figured out a way to fill his whole week. It's funny because, when people are like, people don't actually generally ask this, but like sometimes they're like, what would you do if you weren't a photographer? Or like, what would you do if you weren't doing that? I have a really hard time thinking what else I would do because I have no other skills.
You said you would be a barista.
In theory, but I don't know how to do that. So
you could do it.
I actually thought of like officiating.
Oh yeah,
because
you said that in the last podcast.
Yeah, I don't know if I would be good at it. I can't memorize anything, but I guess you can
don't
read.
Need to. Yeah.
Sometimes I can't read though. I think I've never heard him stumble over anything. So
no, it just comes very easily to him. I think it just flows. Yeah, I mean.
So I have to give a speech, obviously, at the wedding coming up, and I've been working on it already.
Does it start with, for those of you who don't know me?
No.
Okay, good.
I actually sent my speech to Jules and was like, here's what I wrote.
Good.
Because I was like, I don't know if this is... It starts with lady and gentleman.
Lady and gentlemen?
Ladies and gentlemen. Why did I start it that way? I don't know. Probably take that out. I stand here before you as the person responsible for bringing these 2 incredible people together.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
what a claim.
It's all about me.
Okay, don't read us the whole thing.
No, I know.
It's going to be a surprise.
Well, she has already read it.
No, for everyone else.
Oh, yeah. Nobody else listens to this podcast. Yeah, will be interesting. I'll let you know how it goes.
Are you going to try to memorize it?
Hell no.
Hell no. Are you going to read it off your phone?
I wonder if I should get like little cue cards.
Yeah, like grade 5.
Yeah.
Oh my god, look cute. I have
speech.
pictures right here. Do you want them?
Yeah. But I'll probably print them and stick them on them. You know what I mean?
Here you go.
Oh, perfect. They're good size too.
Yeah.
Wow. Ready for this. I should start practicing it.
You should. You can come over here and practice.
Okay. So speaking of speeches, this has nothing to do with anything, but there's this one speech in grade 8 that my friend did, and it's like to this day I'm like the best speech I've ever heard.
In grade 8?
Because yeah, she did. It was just like in front of the class.
Yeah.
But she did this speech about hiccups.
Oh yeah.
And every once in a while she would hiccup. Yeah. She'd be talking about like what hiccups are and like why you get them, and she'd be like
a real one, or would she fake it?
she'd fake it.
Oh
Yeah.
Okay.
So good.
That's so
She
funny.
crushed it.
Yeah.
Still impressed.
That's a great speech.
Grade 8.
Good for her. Do you remember what you did your speech on?
No.
Any of your speeches?
No.
I did one on dolphins.
I never did good. I always got like, I would always get like flustered and like stop breathing and then like talk really fast. So it's hard. Gotta not do any of that. And then I get emotional. I always cry. Like even when I read that speech, I'm almost crying.
Well, it's an emotional speech.
It's not even that emotional. I think I roast Zach. So
But if you were to do a speech on like dolphins,
how great I am,
if you were to do a speech on dolphins,
I would probably
you
get emotional. Probably.
They're so beautiful.
They're basically humans. They're so intelligent.
Have you ever heard of Toastmasters?
No.
It's like a club. You join with a bunch of people and you practice giving speeches every week.
Oh my goodness.
And so like every week you have to do like a speech
Should
on
I
a
do
certain
this?
topic. Yeah, you should do it. My mom did it because I think a bunch of people at work did it. Like
Oh, okay.
more like a leadership team building thing.
Yeah.
And like the first week you'd literally just talk about yourself. So it's like something you know a lot about. So it's easy. And then the next week you talk about something else, like something you're interested in, or I don't know. But basically you just get used to talking.
I just, maybe when I go to weddings this year, I'll be able to like, so I wanted to have like a skeleton of like what it was going to have in it, like the good bones of a good speech. And then I was thinking like, as I go to weddings, like, you know, you can like incorporate more. Cause like those speeches that are like short and like quippy, but they have like a really funny story that's like just so the bride or so whoever. And then like, you know, it just like, it's funny and then it's sad and it's like
some people are so good at that.
I'm like, I'm not good at that.
No.
Like
I gotta get a writer for you.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's how you do it.
I gotta
hire a writer.
So I actually did try this thing called, it's like Providence. I don't know, I gotta look it up later. But basically it just asks you a bunch of questions and you answer them.
Oh.
And then it helps put it together.
Oh.
So I did that.
That's handy.
Yeah.
Did it turn out good?
It was all right.
Nice.
But like
Good starting point.
I was just like, I'm gonna try all these avenues and like see.
Yeah. Should get some tips from Jeff.
Yeah. Maybe I should just be like, hey Jeff, can you actually write my speech for this wedding I have to be in September?
He gives you like an officiant
And then
speech.
Yeah, at
like,
the end he's like, you're now married, and I just read it.
Wait, let me step out of the way.
There's like a part that says pause for effect, and I'm like, pause for effect.
Please do that. Please do that.
Although you could use that in like a good way. Like, you're like as a joke.
Yeah.
Pause for effect.
Yeah.
Anybody gonna laugh?
Pause for laughs. Pause for applause.
Yeah. Pause for applause.
Do
And then just like look at everybody.
Or you should get a cue card that says applause. Like a big like poster board.
Oh my gosh. I'm not this invested.
Laugh. A laugh one and an applause one. And like an
aw. And come up with me and do that part.
Yeah.
You could be my Vanna White or whatever.
Funny. Oh my god. That would actually be such a hilarious speech.
Yeah. Do it. Maybe.
Okay.
I gotta get through The Bachelorette first.
Oh yeah.
Jules, if you're listening to this, I love you.
I love you. I better come out alive.
Oh, I'll be fine. I got my dress. Did I tell you?
And how did it go?
I mean, it fits. It's basically a sack with water wings, though.
Do you like it?
It's all right. Yeah, like it's a good backup. I said to Jules, I was like,
backup.
I think it's like one that you definitely, if you're wearing like hair and makeup and like my shoes, then it will look good. But if you're like, you could also just like wear it to the beach.
True.
So, yeah, we'll see.
You gotta get the whole
Definitely
shebang.
need a tan.
Oh,
So,
true. Are you gonna get a spray tan?
I was thinking about it because I was like, tanning isn't healthy.
No, spray tan's where it's at.
Yeah, I think I'll just do that. And then it will be like even. It's nothing special.
No, it's pretty. It's pretty. For the viewers, she just showed me it's pretty.
I just wanted to get a dress that like you look at this and you're not like, oh, that's a bridesmaid's dress. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like that at all.
It's fine. I like it. All right. We never actually said where people can find Jeff. We didn't ask him.
Oh,
sorry, Jeff. We did you dirty there. So if you want to find Jeff on Instagram, it's Hey Jeff Maeck. Is that how you say it? How do you say his last name? Maeck. Oh, Mac. Oh my God.
we've been through this already. Like,
Oh my gosh.
It really throws people off.
Yeah. We'll put him in the show notes if you want
Yeah,
to follow him.
and link
Which you
that
should.
website.
We'll link the website.
It doesn't matter anyways because he's booked until like 2030.
Yeah. So this is for the single peeps
Yeah,
to get the bookings in now.
yeah.
Great episode. Is there anything else you want to say?
Nope.
Okay. Cool.
All right, where can they find you?
They can find me at Effie Edits Photo on Instagram.
Nice, and they can find me at DorothyMay_.
And also follow our podcast Instagram.
Yeah, because we're super hilarious.
Super hilarious. You can see our viral videos.
30 likes.
Edit Sesh Pod. Follow us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.